If you're new to network marketing, recruiting can feel confusing for one simple reason. Most people teach it like a concept, not like a process. You hear phrases like be consistent or talk to more people, but when you close the video, you still don't know what to do first, what to do second, and what to do when someone is actually interested. So in this video, I'm going to give you a beginner-proof recruiting framework with 4 steps that follow the real order of how people actually decide. And just so we are on the same page, recruiting is not a talent. Recruiting is a responsible process, and the moment you treat it like a process, it stops feeling emotional and starts feeling manageable. Step 1. Building your recruiting inventory. The first step is building what I call your recruiting inventory, your list of names, which is simply a clean, organized list of humans you can start conversations with over time. Most beginners fail here because they either have no list at all or they only think of 5 people and then they freeze. What you want instead is a list that gives you breathing room, because breathing room removes pressure. Here is how you build it in a way that feels structured and not awkward. Start by creating 4 categories in your Notes app. People you already know, people you kind of know, people you used to know, and people you'd like to know. Then you spend one focused session adding names into each category without judging whether they are good or bad prospects. You are not deciding who joins today. You are building your inventory so you can work calmly. Your first goal is not to recruit people, your first goal is to create options. Once you have that list, you choose a realistic weekly rhythm. If you are new and you want a simple starting point, you can aim for a small number you can actually keep, like reaching out to a few people per day or a few people per week, depending on your schedule. The exact number matters less than the consistency, because consistency is what turns into something you can duplicate. This step also includes a basic preparation piece. You should be able to explain what you do in 1 or 2 sentences without sounding like you are pitching. Not because you need a perfect script, but because when you cannot explain something simply, you usually don't understand it clearly yet. Step 2. Warm the room before you invite. Now we move into the step most people skip, warming the room. Recruiting works best when people have context. Context does not mean a presentation. Context means people know you're building something, they see you taking it seriously, and they can connect it to who you are. If nobody knows you are building a business, every outreach message becomes a cold surprise, and cold surprises create resistance. If people have context, your message becomes normal instead of suspicious. So your job is to create a small layer of context before you start inviting people to look. That can be as simple as mentioning in conversation that you have started building something alongside your normal life, that you're learning business skills, or that you're working on a project you're excited about. On social media, it can be as simple as showing that you're active, consistent, and improving, without turning every post into a sales post. This is also where many beginners overcomplicate it. They think they need to post every day, or they need a brand, or they need to become an influencer. You don't. You need enough visibility that the person thinks, okay, I've seen this, I kind of understand what's going on, before you ever ask them to look. Now, when you do invite someone, keep it simple and human. You can say something like, I started building a side business and I'm learning a lot. You came to mind because you're ambitious, and I'm curious how you see this type of model. If I sent you a short overview, would you be open to taking a look? Notice what this does. It doesn't force decision, it asks for permission. It creates a small next step, and it lets the person stay in control. Quick side note, if you want the full foundation for building network marketing with structure, standards, and a long-term thinking, my book Moonshot lays out the complete framework I teach for building professionally without hype or pressure. It's linked below if you want to go deeper. Alright, back to recruiting. Step 3. Use the power of third the right way. This is the step that separates beginners who struggle from beginners who build momentum. In network marketing, you're not expected to be the expert on day one. You're not supposed to know everything. You're supposed to use your sponsor or upline to help you guide the conversation and to help your prospect see the business through someone with experience. That's the power of third. It's usually done through a three-way call or a short three-way voice note where you bring your prospect and your upline together. Done correctly, it reduces pressure, increases trust, and creates duplication because you can do it again and again. Before the three-way call happens, you also need one critical skill: edification. Edification simply means you introduce your upline in a way that builds respect and trust without exaggeration and without sounding fake. If you introduce your sponsor like a random friend, your prospect treats the call like a random chat. Do not apologize for bringing in your upline. Borrowed credibility is part of the model. A clean edification sounds like this. I want you to meet someone who has been doing this longer and has a lot of experience building it the right way. I've learned a lot from them, and I think you'll get a clearer perspective in 10 minutes than I could give you alone right now. Now the call itself needs structure. Otherwise, it becomes a long talk and your prospect gets overwhelmed. Here is a simple flow that works. First, you set the frame before the call even starts. You tell your prospect, this is just a short chat, so you can ask questions and hear a clear explanation. There is no pressure to decide anything today. If it's interesting, we'll talk about the next step. If it's not, no problem. Then your upline usually does the three things. They ask a few questions about your prospect, they share a short story that creates relatability, and they explain the business in a simple way. The goal is not to overload the prospect with information. The goal is to give them a clear picture and let them react. Your job during the call is to stay present, listen, and learn how it's done. You are building skill through observation. Don't talk. Step 4. Follow up like a professional. Now we get to the step that determines whether your pipeline grows or dies. Follow up. Most beginners think follow-up means reminding people again and again. In reality, follow-up is a decision process. You're simply guiding the next step based on what the person has already shown you. A professional follow-up starts with one question. Did the person show curiosity, neutrality, or resistance? If they showed curiosity, your follow-up can be quick and specific. You can say, hey, just checking in. Were you able to look at it? I'm curious what your honest thoughts are. Then you stop talking and you let them answer. If they were neutral, you give it time. You keep the relationship normal. You don't force a timeline. You can circle back later with something relevant, not with pressure. If they clearly weren't interested, you respect it and you move on. Not because you're giving up, but because you're keeping the relationship intact. Now here's the part most people don't do, and it's why recruiting feels chaotic. Tracking. You should track your recruiting like a simple pipeline. You keep a list of who you contacted, who looked, who had a three-way call, and what the next step is. When you track it, you stop relying on memory and emotion. You start relying on a system. What you don't track, you can't improve. And one more thing, if someone says, I need to think, you don't fight that. You simply ask what they need to think about. Sometimes the hesitation is confusion, sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's fear. A calm question helps you identify what it is without turning into a debate. So let's recap this in a practical way. You build your recruiting inventory so you have options and no pressure. You warm the room with context before you invite. You use the power of third so you don't carry the weight alone. And you follow up with a simple system so recruiting becomes predictable instead of emotional. That's how beginners recruit without guessing. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for taking the time to go through this with me, and I really hope it gave you a real starting point instead of just another motivational talk. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episodes. And if you know someone who's new and feels lost with recruiting, send them this video, because building becomes so much easier once you finally have structure. Also, if you want to stay connected day to day, you can follow me on social media as well. You'll find all the links in the description below, and you'll also see them at the end of the video. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.